It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are all at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel, Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our website is obnradio.com. And our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. And without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. Well, of course, we know the cause and effect that Corona has had throughout the world. And the evidence has proven itself each and every day. If there's ever been a season of the have and the have-nots, it's definitely now. We know that Power Fives have money resources to a degree that will be considerably larger than that on the FCS status, D2, D3, and so on and so forth. The concerns and the forecasting of the possibilities of football being delayed are beginning to hit home now, especially since the postponement of the Olympic Games that were scheduled for July of this year. The reality is slowly creeping in. What next? Who's next? On the positive side of things, moves are still being made, hires and jobs are still being offered to people in the world of athletics and, of course, in other categories in the workforce. But, of course, this is a sports talk show for the most part, so we'll focus on that. Arkansas Pine Bluff has just announced an associate athletic director, Mr. Jared Ratliff, coming by way of Bethune-Cookman. Prairie View has just closed their portal for the search of an athletic director. I'll get back on that in just a moment. But on the flip side of that coin, other institutions are having to make some tough decisions. Case in point, the University of Brassport, Division II institution in Connecticut, had to make the tough decision of sending home their athletic staff until August of 2020, hoping that this pandemic subsides itself by then, where people can return to work. And in the midst of the challenges that we have that are right now and obviously coming in the near future, if there's ever been a time for strong leadership, it's right now. Tough decisions are going to be made. You're going to make some happy, you're going to make some sad. But the bottom line, tough decisions will need to be made. In the world of athletics, they're forecasting now budgets will more than likely have to be adjusted. The way of operating has forever changed. And there's going to have to be a new approach of dealing with things. And when it comes to leading people, this is not the season for the novice. This is not the season for the faint of heart. This is not the season for someone to be cutting their teeth. It is imperative that the leaders that are placed in position, that are in position, have the necessary coping skills to deal with everything from a logical point of view. I'll return back to the athletic director search for Prairie View A&M University. We know this is a delicate situation. It's an emotional situation. But it's a situation that must be handled properly, must be sorted through with due diligence, and it must be the best person to move the athletic department forward whenever the games resume. There will be some tough decisions to be made. And it might be to the point, I'm not projecting this, I hadn't heard anything, but just thinking across the board. You might have to make a decision on, do you continue in the case of Prairie View with 18 sports? You need 14 to be qualified as a Division I institution on the athletic side of things. If you had to make a cut, who would you cut? Why would you cut them? Some institutions are contemplating on doing away with sports altogether. I don't see that in the foreseeable future of Prairie View. Some adjustments are coming. Some adjustments will be drastic. And in the search of our next athletic director, I personally, as an alumnus, not as a journalist, but as an alumnus, I don't need anyone who's coming in cutting their teeth at our expense. I don't need anyone who's going to be indecisive on making tough decisions. I don't need anyone who will not lead the charge in the good, the bad, and the ugly. In the words of the Fugees, ready or not, here it comes. We have seen variations of leadership throughout this pandemic that has swept this world. And we've seen it on every level, national, regional, and local. And all have responded from one extreme to the next. Dear Prairie View, let's make this next move our best move. I don't want us to go in this with an emotional selection process. I don't want us to go through this through a political selection process. I need us to go into this with a logical process. A process that's going to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Our next athletic director is going to literally have to start from ground zero. And that person that starts from ground zero is going to have to be connected. And when I say connected, you're going to have to be connected to people from all walks of life. There are going to be new challenges. If you think we had challenges now, there are going to be some challenges that we had yet to even think of. That once that person has been selected to be placed in that hot seat, if you allow me to identify it as such, they're going to have to be able to come to a conclusion, stand by their decision, and pull the trigger. Is it going to be right all the time? No. Is it going to be wrong all the time? No. Part of the duties that come with being a leader on whatever level it is, you have to be able to deal with the critics as well as the fans. And when I say fans, no matter who we are, what we do, we all have at least one or two fans that no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, people are going to find a way to justify why you did what you did. And that's okay. But sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves. Am I speaking from a fan's point of view, or am I speaking from a logical point of view? And if we look at the big picture, it's going to be a long time before things become quote unquote normal again. But in that same breath, it is a great time to start all over again. You've heard the saying that today is the first day of the rest of your life, and you have only one time to make a first impression. And however that person has identified you, however that person has categorized you, it will be up to you to either maintain the impression or improve the impression. If you were to take a survey across the board right now, part of the challenge that my beloved Prairie View A&M University has is an identity crisis. I know that sounds crazy. That sounds ironic. What do you mean we have an identity crisis, Mike? We were founded in 1876. We were one of the original institutions that created the Southwestern Athletic Conference. What do you mean we have an identity crisis? When I say we have an identity crisis, there are certain things that should never, ever be tainted. We all profess to be USA citizens, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, whether you're rich or poor. We say one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. The one thing that unites us is our American flag. And the colors of that American flag are red, white, and blue. It is a source of identity, whether you're in the 40% taxable income or you're a recipient of government assistance. Red, white, and blue covers us all. Well, what does that have to do with Prairie View, Mike? I'm heading there. In the midst of everything that this university has experienced, good, bad, and ugly, at least for the most part, you knew certain things were concrete. Number one, we knew that Prairie View A&M University was located in Prairie View, Texas. You knew that. That was a constant. It was not going to change. You could add other branches throughout Houston, but the mothership is at Prairie View, Texas. We knew that Prairie View A&M University colors would be royal purple and gold. Some called it Old English gold. Some call it Vegas gold. But you would look at that gold and you would know that that was Prairie View A&M University. Mike, it doesn't matter what the colors are. It doesn't matter. You got to get modernized. You got to do things that way. I beg to differ. Try changing the colors of the American flag. I've spoken with various people on this topic. I've spoke with some who were non-traditional HBCU graduates. I've spoken with some who are PV graduates, and it's all been the same. The colors do matter. If it doesn't matter, why select a color? Whatever color you want to be this year, okay, we'll be this color this year. You want to change it next week, we'll change it next week. It has a significance. It's a part of our history. It's a part of the culture. And it's a part of the identification that is slowly eroding. And I know some of you think this is overkill. And that's part of the problem. That is absolutely part of the problem. When you become laxed in things that have been sacrificed for each and every one of us, it really and truly becomes easier to erase who and what we are. My message to the next athletic director, whomever it would be, I believe one of the easiest gestures that you could make would be to get the colors back to its original status. Oh, Mike, that ain't gonna change nothing. You're shaking a stick at a minuscule situation. I beg to differ. That's just like someone decides to change the words to Dear Prairie View. Just like someone deciding to change the founding year. Just like someone trying to erase who our presidents were of each era. It all matters. And then I can hear those who are echoing, well, if we do all that, we'll have to pay for all the publication changes and all the color schemes. Somebody paid to change it, so pay to change it back. It doesn't make sense to you right now, but it would when it's too late. We cannot be reactive. We must stay proactive. Sooner or later, this coronavirus will be a part of our history. What will we learn from it? How will we improve from it? How will we grow from it? And it doesn't make sense right now, but it's all intertwined with how will we conduct business as an institution in the future. What will our future look like? Where can I help improve the situation? And let me add this one other thing too. We get a lot of kickback and everybody gives on different levels, and you should be given. And I've been on the record for saying that I believe that every person who's ever put on a uniform should be the first in line when it comes to buying season tickets. But for those of you who say, well, where are you supporting? You don't support, you don't buy tickets, you don't do this, you don't do that. Please stop that madness. Last I checked, you are a state employee. And because you are a state employee, anyone who's paying taxes is supporting your endeavor. So let's not use that crutch. Let's stand for what we know is right. Let's do what we know is right. And let's truly unite as one. Because regardless if you on one side or the other of the coin, if you believe in Prairie View, then it still holds true. Prairie View produces productive people. Prairie View produces productive people does not mean that every time they're going to always agree. But it's not a time for casting out, because that's the purple side, that's the gold side, this is the old PV, this is the new PV. That's part of the problem. A house divided will never stand. We need to be able to take constructive criticism, all of us. That doesn't mean it's a personal attack against you. We're all trying to get better. And by getting better, we have to look at some harsh realities. We have to look at some concrete facts, not emotions, but facts. And if we want to get better, we got to start doing better. The rubber has already hit the road. The wheels are spinning. Are they going to be stuck in the mud? Or are they going to be going further down the road? When the dust has settled, I love Prairie View A&M University. I love Prairie View A&M University people. And just because we may decide that one way should be the other way, let's not let that erode the common denominator, that we want what's best for Prairie View. Not what's best for us as individuals, but what's best for Prairie View. Stop looking for the hookups. Stop looking for the perks. And let's give back to the institutions that gave to us first. Many of us are first generation graduates. You were admitted at a time when no one else would accept you. And we're at the point now where our institutions, not just Prairie View, but all across, and I'm in particularly speaking to those with an HBCU descent, our institutions all across need us more now than ever before. You might not be a millionaire. You might not even be a thousandaire. but I'm pretty sure we got a bunch of hundredaires out there. And I'm not asking you to break the bank. I'm not asking you to do something foolish, but I would challenge you. And this is a PV challenge right now. We profess over 60,000 graduates from our beloved Prairie View A&M University. 60,000. If each one of us, of that 60,000, gave $18.76, of course, that symbolizes the founding year. That's over $1.1 million. If we did that one time, $18.76. If you committed to $18.76 a month, $225.12 a year, that's $13.5 million from us back to us. I know that's wishful thinking, but that's the simplicity of how we can help ourselves. Stop looking for someone to keep hooking you up because you were, or at least you thought in your mind, you were that go-to person. Your time on the yard. You cannot relive your student days. At some point, the student got to change to an adult, a graduate, a supporter. Yes, I fuss, but I support. You might not like what I have to say, and you might even call me an idiot, a fool, and you're entitled to that. But I keep giving. I give my time. I give my finance. I give my opinion. I give my coverage daily on this network. I am not on Prairie View A&M University's payroll. I just need to get that out there as well. A lot of you people think that I'm on Prairie View A&M University's payroll. No, that is not the case at all. Regardless of your personal opinion of me, I can't change that. I'm not even trying to change that. Our call speed's on its way. We got to keep moving. We got to stay focused. We got to stay on the grind. My position is not to report on fluff always. My position is to report on facts always. And the facts are, we need to truly identify who and what we are, where we're going, how we're going to get there, and if you're on board or not. Doesn't matter if you like me, but it does matter that we respect each other. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Well, believe it or not, you have some PV graduates who are Republican. You have some PV graduates who are Democrat. Should that change your position on our dear Prairie View? I would hope not. So if we don't learn anything else from Corona, let us learn that we still need each other. I know I'm over time today, but it's all good. I'm going to exit stage left for right now. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I want to thank you all so much for joining with me on today. And if the creek don't rise and the Lord delays his coming, we'll be right back to do it all over again. I've got to go. My time is up. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.